Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. In today's class, we will learn how to design and render mushrooms. As you can see the rendered image on the screen, so without wasting any time, let's get started with today's class. First, I will select the default cube and delete it. Then by pressing Shift plus A, I will go to the mesh option and add a cylinder. Here I will set the vertices value to 16. Now I will enter edit mode, press A to select all the vertices and scale them down. Next I will select the face, press Shift plus S and choose cursor to select it to move the 3D cursor to the location of selected face. After that I will go to the object mode, right click and select origin to 3D cursor. Then I will press Shift plus S again to move the cursor to the word's origin and press Shift plus A. Select the selection to cursor which will align the object perfectly on the grid. I will enter edit mode, select the face and move it along the z-axis. After moving it on the z-axis, I will select the face and delete it. Now I will press Ctrl plus R to add 3 edge loops and adjust them by moving and scaling to improve the shape slightly. I will go to the Modifiers tab and add a subdivision surface modifier. After that, I will refine the shape. I will select the bottom face, press I to inset it, and then pressing Shift plus R to repeat the inset multiple times. When we hold Alt and click on an edge, it selects the entire edge loop. I will select the edge loops, move and scale them to improve the shape. Wherever additional edge loops are needed, I will add them using Ctrl plus R. Next, I will select the top edge loop, press E to extrude it and press S to scale it up. Then I will extrude again, move it along the Z axis and scale it down. I will extrude once more, scale it down and move it along the Z axis. I will repeat this step 2 more times. Finally, I will switch to vertex select mode, select these vertices and press M to merge them at the center. Here I will add an edge loop and move it along the Z axis. Now the object model is complete. I will press Shift plus D to duplicate the object and move it along the Y axis. Then I will scale it down, rotate it and place it in the required position. Next I will duplicate it again and place it on the other side and apply a random rotation. Once more I will duplicate the object, place it in another position, scale it down further and give it a random rotation. As all the objects currently have the same shape, to introduce some variation, I will enter edit mode, select a vertex or edge or face and enable proportional editing. Then I will press G to move the selection and use the mouse scroll to control the affected area of proportional editing. Similarly, I will select each of the 4 objects one by one, enter edit mode and make slight changes to their shapes. This way, each object will have some variation in its shape. I can also disable proportional editing, select edge loops and scale them up or down to bring variation to specific parts of the objects. I will add a plane and move it along the y-axis. Then I will scale it down on the y-axis. Using Ctrl plus R, I will add edge loops and including one in the center. I will select the center vertex and move it along the x-axis and then select the surrounding vertices to scale and move them to shape the plane like grass. Now I will add a subdivision surface modifier to the plane and set the levels value to 2. After that, I will add a solidify modifier and increase the thickness value. I will move the solidify modifier above the subdivision modifier in the stack and adjust the thickness value again. Next, I will rotate the object by 90 degrees. Since I want to shape it like grass, I will switch to extreme mode, select the vertices, enable proportional editing and move them forward. To increase the affected area of proportional editing, I will scroll the mouse wheel upward. After achieving the required shape, I will rotate the object to the desired side. Then I will select a vertex and move the 3D cursor to that location. Next, I will set the object's origin to the 3D cursor. If the origin is still has some distance from the object, I will apply the solidify modifier. Then I will select this edge and move the object's origin to the location of selected edge. I will scale down the grass object and place it near these objects. Then I will move the 3D cursor to the word's origin, add a plane and scale it up. This plane will be used as the ground. I will duplicate the grass object and place the duplicates around these objects with random rotations and scales. I will enable snapping from the snapping options and select face projection. This ensures the glass object snap to the surface of the plane. Next, I will check the align rotation to target option so that the grass objects align their rotation according to the plane. When I press G to move the grass object, it will snap the plane while maintaining proper alignment. However, to adjust the rotation freely, I will uncheck the align rotation to target option. Now I will randomly scale and rotate the grass objects and place them around the mushroom objects. I will create additional duplicates, adjust their scaling and rotation randomly, and position them around the mushroom objects. Now I will create the white dots or warts on the mushroom. For this, I will press Shift plus A, go to the mesh options and add a circle. Then I will enter edit mode, select all vertices and press F to fill the circle. Next, I will enable face select mode, select the face, press I to inset the face and use Shift plus R to repeat the inset option. After that, I will add an edge loop. Since the edge loop is snapping to the mushroom's geometry below, I will undo the action. Then I will disable snapping and add the edge loop again. Now I will add a solidify modifier to the object and then subdivision modifier. Then I will enter edit mode, enable proportional editing, select the face and move it upward to create the desired shape. After achieving the shape, I will apply the solidify modifier and scale down the object. Since the object's origin is currently at the word's origin, I will right click and select origin to geometry to center the origin to the object. To move the origin manually, I will enable the affect only origin option. Then I will press G and Z to move only the object's origin downward. I will uncheck affect only origins option and scale down the object. Then I will enable snapping and check align rotation to target. This ensures that the object snaps to the geometry and its rotation aligns with the target surface accordingly. Now I will duplicate this object and place it randomly on the mushroom object. As you can see, there is some distance between the mushroom geometry and this object. I will undo the action and move just the origin slightly upward. Now when I place the object, the distance between the two objects is eliminated. Now I will duplicate this object and place it on all the mushroom objects. Since the modeling is complete, I will select the camera and go to the view from which I want the render. Then I will press Ctrl plus Alt and numpad 0 to align the camera to that view. I will press G and double Z to move the camera slightly backward. If snapping is still active, I will disable it. I can press the numpad 0 key to switch to the camera view. Now I will go to the top view. I will rotate the plane to match the camera view and then select the edge. I will press G and double X to move it backward along the local x-axis. Next, I will extrude it along the z-axis. Then I will select the edge and use Ctrl plus B to bevel it. I will add new edges with the scroll wheel. Finally, I will right click and select Shade Smooth to smooth the shading of the object. Now I will press numpad 0 to go to the camera view. Since the plane is smaller along the y-axis, I will press S then double Y to scale it up along the local y-axis. Now I will enable material mode in viewport shading so that I can see the materials applied to the object in the scene. I will keep the object selected, go to the materials tab, create a new material and assign a red or orange color to it. I will also reduce the roughness value slightly and make minor adjustment to the color. To give the bottom part or stem of the mushroom a different material, I will create a new white material and also decrease its roughness value. Now I will enter edit mode, select the lowest face and press Ctrl and plus button on the numpad to grow the selection. I will continue selecting the faces to which I want to apply the white material. Once the required faces are selected, I will choose the white material and press assign to apply it to the selected faces. I will add the same materials to all the mushroom objects. For this, I will select all the mushrooms and then select the last one which already has the materials applied. I will press Ctrl plus L and choose link materials to apply the same materials to all selected mushrooms. Then as before, I will go into edit mode, select the lower parts and apply the white material to them. For now, I will select the plane, press H to hide it so I can easily see and select the desired faces. I will change the color of this material slightly. Now I will select a grass object, create a new material and assign it a green color. Then I will click and drag to select all the grass objects and while holding the shift key, I will deselect the mushrooms object. Finally, I will click on the grass object with the applied material to make it active. Then press Ctrl plus L and choose link materials which will apply the green material to all the selected objects. These dots already have a white color, so I will not create a new material or adjust its setting. However, you can either create a new material or assign an already existing one if you prefer. I will press Alt plus H to unhide the ground and then press numpad 0 to switch to the camera view. So far everything is as I wanted. Now I will press Shift plus A, go to the light options and add an area light. I will add another window to this side and enable render mode in viewport shading to observe the light's effect. I will delete the existing point light and select the newly created area light and move it along the z-axis. I will scale up the area light and increase its power value. Keep in mind that the power value of the light depends on the scale of the scene and objects. If the scene is small, a lower light power will have a greater effect. And if the scene is large or the objects are created at a large scale, a higher power value will be required to achieve the desired effect. I will select 3D cursor from the transform pivot point options. This way, when I rotate or scale the light, the transformation will happen relative to the 3D cursor's position. Now I will rotate the light and position it as required. Then I will duplicate this light and place it on the back side as a rim light. To rotate the light around its own origin, I will select median point from the transform pivot point menu. Afterward, I will set the position and rotation of the light from every side. I will also move the light slightly upward and change its color. And I will increase its power value. Then I will reselect the 3D cursor as the pivot point, slightly rotate the light, duplicate it and rotate it and place it on another side. I will slightly adjust the color of this light to make it reddish. From here, the size of the light can also be increased. I will further increase the size of both lights and also increase their power value. Currently, the render engine is set to AV. I will switch it to cycles and this is the result I am getting. I still need to make more adjustments in the lighting. I will move this light upward and increase its power even more. Then I will duplicate the light, rotate it and place it in a new position. Ensure that the light properly reaches the lower parts of the objects. Now I will go to the output properties and double the resolution. After that, I will go to the render settings and switch from AV to cycles. In the maximum samples, I will set the value to 300, which should give me the desired result. Then I will go to the render menu and click on render image. The time taken for rendering will depend on your computer's specification. Once the render is complete, you can save the rendered image to your PC. I hope today's session was clear and helpful for you. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section. Stay tuned for more videos like this. See you in the next class. Until then, goodbye and take care.